Hey, Dex Guys here with another achievement guide on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. This is the Seal the Deal achievement worth 30G, which you get for completing the Easter egg on the machine. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is going to be a long process, so please bear with me and take this slow. You can even put this down at half speed if you want. The first thing we're going to do is turn the power on. This is really plain and simple because you're going to get some HUD instructions on how to do this. Just follow around the directions that you need to go, get into the power room, turn it on. The next thing we're going to do is the pack punch machine, which again is super duper easy on this particular map because again it gives you HUD instructions on what you do, giving you directions on where you need to go. So you need to activate the power and then press where the pack punch machine is in the center of that room, as you just saw me doing there. That will take you into the ether. The ether we're going to use multiple times where you can pick up a weapon, and that's pretty much it. Step 2 is that we need the special weapon. The weapon that basically blasts out and can also suck zombies in, which is called the DIE. The way we're going to do this is you can either get this from the pack punch machine, or we can get it by doing it the hidden way. The hidden way is what I'm going to show you right now. So when a boss zombie spawns in, obviously it splits in two when you take all of its health out. And when the second one gets taken out, it will drop a particular key. You just need to go over and pick that key up, and that key will stay with you even if you're downed and whatnot. Quick tip here, always make sure you have a self-revive kit, especially important if you're doing this by yourself. So head down towards the power room and take a right into this room here. Press on the machine and it will pop out a little remote control. The reason we're going to use this remote control is to get our DIE machine. Go back to spawn, and within the building on our left hand side we've got the DIE right here. Use our remote to activate the DIE, which is going to start sucking zombies in, as you can see here. It's not going to suck all of the zombies in, but the vast majority of them it's going to do. We're going to wait for that to complete, and then we can activate it, and then we can go pick it up. That's great because the DIE machine, we're going to need 4 upgrades for it, which I'm also going to talk through in this video. The way we do this, we picked up the DIE machine. We're going to go for the first one, which is if we go upstairs directly above where we picked up that DIE machine, you can suction in and pick up an item. We then go to this location here, which is where we picked up that special key just downstairs from that location we were just in before. And we're going to turn around when the upgrade machine is, and we can activate that little bar. From there we want to take a dog into there, shoot the dog so that it starts sucking up the powder, and we give that a couple of seconds, pick the machine up, then we're going to go upstairs to where we are right now and pop it on that box. Give it a shot. That will open up this box and give us our first upgrade for our gun. That's great. Moving on to the second one, because each one has some like fun little way of doing it. Again, we're going to go to the top of the building in the center of the map, and we're going to shoot this little box that we saw with our DIE machine, which is going to make a flask fall. This time we're going to need another boss zombie to help us out. And what we're going to do is we're going to stand next to this little tree here, which is just literally directly behind where we picked up that flask. We're going to get a boss to shoot at us. We're going to put our flask down, then we're going to pick the flask back up again, which is what we just did there. We then want to take the flask to the location we're going to at the moment, which is if you go towards the power room and took a left rather than a right, we went right the last time, we'll go into this room. This room is going to be quite important. It's going to get us to do a lot of things in this room. But the first of which is, like I say, to get this second upgrade for the gun. Just a quick one on the gun. Obviously, as you're unlocking upgrades, the upgrades don't stay specifically with you. You can choose which upgrade you have at this one point by just going back and swapping and changing. So you can see at this point we have the freeze ray, which in particular is my favourite. Now we have those 2 upgrades, we're going to go progress with the Easter egg a little bit. We're going to do this by going into the ether, and we need to collect 3 different parts. The first of which is the pack-a-punch machine. The second one is located on the wing of the plane, which is on the other side of the spawn, not the spawn side, if you go through the house to the other side. And the third one is located at spawn. Now, those could spawn in 3 different areas at 3 different times, so they could come at any point. You've got to check all the locations, one at a time they'll come in, and you've got to also be prepared whenever you pick it up, there's going to be a couple of dogs spawning, you need to take them out. So just check, if it's not in the first 2 locations, check the 3rd, and you've got to collect all 3 and then take it back to the Pack-a-Punch machine, which is where we are at the moment, where you can craft that scope. From there, we're going to go into the room where our second upgrade was. Upstairs next to the computer, with our new scope, we can then locate this particular ghost. We still need to be in the ether at this point. You need to talk to the ghost, and then you need to give him the diary. From there, we're going to go follow the ghost round into the challenge room, which is the room that's like a long corridor facing into the Pack-a-Punch room. We're going to spawn the next ghost. We're going to talk to that ghost again, and that will give him a book. Because at the end of the day, we're following a little bit of a story. And then we've got one more ghost to find, which is in the Pack-a-Punch room on the bottom floor. When we speak to this ghost, that will be us complete there. We've given him that book. Now, we're going to go back to where the first ghost was, where we picked up the book in the first place. And we're going to find this computer. We want to interact with the computer and give it a password. Because when we talked to the guys, the ghosts, they were giving us a password, which will activate this machine here. From here, we're going to go now to upgrade our weapon to get upgrade number 3 and upgrade number 4. So we need to go back to the ether using this particular portal. If that isn't the portal that's opened up for you, just go in the portal and progress a few rounds until that particular portal is. When we go into that portal, we are looking for 3 glow-up lights. The first one's located here, which is the other side to spawn. Once we pick that up, we're going to go into where the Pack-a-Punch machine is, where we just kind of interacted with that ghost before. There's a box we want to shoot. So then number 2 light is located at the top of the building, in this little section here. Again, we're going to suck it in and we're going to shoot. At this point, you probably ran out of time with the ether, but that's totally fine. We can progress a couple of rounds until we get to be able to go back through that portal again, till we get our final light, which is located at this bit, which is like kind of the 3rd section of outside where you needed to turn the electricity on to get there. We can now shoot that box for the 3rd time and pick up our 3rd upgrade. Now we just need one more upgrade. This one is done by picking up this fuse box here. If that fuse box isn't available to you because the cockpit's too low, just go through a couple of teleports and eventually that cockpit will rise. You can get the fuse and go to this location here, which is where the first key was. Again, we still need to be in the ether at this point. We can turn around to where that machine is and interact with it. That will open the box, which is located, again, where we're looking at the moment, on top of this truck. Should be fairly recognizable for you now because the map is quite small. That will give us our 4th and final upgrade for the DIE machine, which we can now use to progress with the Easter egg story. Now, each upgrade will move the arm up of this particular machine. It's got the particular one for each one, so it's a bit of trial and error with them. So you need to shoot the first one, go get another upgrade, shoot the second one, etc, etc, until you've completed all 4. So that's number 3. And that is number 4. That is going to activate that particular machine that is ready for us now. So we need to go back to the ether again, go upstairs and interact with the ghost, which is going to give us a kind of a little wrench, but it's going to go through the story first. As you can see there, we just pick up the wrench and we're nearly actually getting quite far through this now. We now go back to spawn and hit the tank 3 times with the wrench that's just been dropped off by them ghosts. A zombie's going to spawn at the top, which we're going to shoot a couple of times. Then we're going to go craft ourselves a Semtex if you haven't got already. That's okay because you should have more than enough crafting parts. We want to throw a Semtex at the roof there to finish that zombie off, and that will activate the gun of the tank firing off. You want to go to the other side of the building to find this particular ball, which is going to help us activate the machine completely. Please be careful when you pick up this because a couple of dogs are going to spawn and you can't shoot whilst having that ball. So take the zombies out and then go back to where our main machine is. As you can see, I told you before, this room is quite important. So that machine is totally now up and ready for us. We now want to get ourselves one final more boss to bring into the room, and it needs to be split. The reason for it being is it just doesn't take one big boss zombie. It needs to be split, and you need to attract it underneath that machine, and the machine will suck it up to progress into the next part of the Easter egg. So I've convinced both of them to go up. You then need to go into the computer room. If you're playing with multiple characters, everybody needs to be in this computer room at the same time. What's going to happen is going to progress the story a little bit more, where these zombies are going to turn back into a human. But don't worry, we've got no actual consequences for having that human there. Although he looks like a bad guy and he looks like somebody who's going to start beating you up, he's not going to. So from there, we're going to go totally ignore that, and we're going to go back to the spawn location, looking for another entrance to the ether. The reason we do that is because just at this point here, which is at spawn, you went into the door and turned right, we will find one final ghost. Once a ghost has finished his monologue, he's going to drop a picture, and that picture, if you pick it up, is going to take us to our boss battle. So if you haven't already, make sure you're all equipped and ready for the boss battle. My biggest tip for the boss battle is to have full armor and also have a pack-punch machine. You're going to have your DIE machine, which is great, your DIE weapon, because that's going to be your main way of defending this guy. So this guy's a guy we've just remade, and it turns out he's not a bad guy, he's actually a good guy. You've got to defend him whilst he's kind of trying to disassemble the machine in his own way. We don't have to worry about that at all. All we need to know is we need to defend him. Luckily for you though, is we have unlimited time to do this. So although it kind of, the game perceives that it's going to take, you need to do this straight away, you need to protect him, he's got limited life. Whilst I'm by myself, I'm not 100% sure if you're playing as a team, but whilst yourself, I know that I spent more than enough time in this room, and it should have. If it was going to kill us, then it would have. Just keep shooting the zombies around him and running around in a circle. Keep picking up armor if you need to, until you get to this point here where he's deactivated the machine and the whole island is starting to blow up. This is where that tip I told you before comes in handy, where you have a self-revive if you go down. Because if you went down at that point like I nearly did there, then I would have been absolutely livid. Anyway, so he's disassembled the machine. You need to make your way to the Xville site just by running past all the zombies, making sure not to touch them blue lights at all, because it is a quick death if you touch it. I'm not saying it's instant death if you kind of brush past it, but it is a quick death if you stay in it for too long. And if you go into the centre, I do believe it's instant death as well. So all you've got to do is run past these zombies. It does look kind of scary because it gives you a timer of 1 minute 30, but trust me, that's more than enough time. As you can see there, I'm around 28 and I still managed to get out with a good 40-50 seconds. And that's it completed. The achievement will then pop for you, the cutscene will start where you're flying away, and that is the end. So I hope this guide helped out for you. This took an age, so if you could leave a like if it did help you out, that'd be fantastic. And even better if you could leave a subscription. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!